Paul, someone has a question for you. Do you have time to answer?
Sure.
What tips would you have for a history master that loves to write but is too scared to commit?
I think the trick is to write for yourself. It doesn't matter if nobody else sees it. If you enjoy writing and you enjoy incorporating parts of history, which is really my backstory, just write for yourself.
And what was the impetus to get you to actually write a book? Because you've tried many times before.
I did, and although I'm really fascinated by history, I'd rather twist history and give it my own, particular flavor, which is why I went with fantasy. But in my case, what made the difference for me was outlining the plot ahead of time.
So you tried writing, I think, 5 or 6 books.
At least, yeah.
So what was the magic sauce for you?
Outlining, once again. Some people have the gift. They can just sit down and write a story as it comes to them. But I found that quickly either went down a path I wasn't prepared for, in which case I didn't know what to do with the characters, or I just ended up in the middle of nowhere and with no idea what to do with the storyline.
And how do you outline?
So I start with, when I first have an idea for a book, it'll typically be just a couple of sentences, of which I have dozens just sitting by already. Then I take that and I expand it into further detail, several paragraphs. At that point, I'm usually ready to start breaking it down into chapters. The idea being each chapter is one element of the story or one part of the story. And then from there, I expand each sentence out into usually in bullet form, to fill out the contents of the chapter.
That sounds involving, but you didn't do that in the beginning, did you, for Servant of the Crown?
No, this is more developed over a period of time. Servant of the Crown, I had the advantage the storyline had already been played out in a role-playing game.
How much of the storyline would you say Servant of the Crown actually follows of the role-playing game?
So at its base, the overall arc of the story is pretty much the same. The interactions between the characters is very different, with a few exceptions. There's some scenes that are taken directly from the game. As you get into the later books, it's less and less like the campaign that I ran and more an original story.